Hey guys, what is up? It is a Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So we got our first trade of the NBA offseason, and that is that the Chicago Bulls and the Oklahoma City Thunder have agreed to a trade of Alex Caruso to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Josh Giddey, who is going to the Chicago Bulls. And I kind of want to talk about this because this is a huge trade for Oklahoma City, man. Like, they took a guy who they could not play pretty much at all at any point in the playoffs and turned him into a guy that is a fucking dog. Alex Caruso is one of the best defending guards in the NBA. He's really improved his three-point shot over this past year. He's been gradually just getting better at shooting threes. And OKC got themselves a really, really good player for a guy that it seemed like they were kind of shunning from their organization. It seemed like the Oklahoma City Thunder really wanted to wash their hands of the Josh Giddey situation, just like the Charlotte Hornets are washing their hands of the Miles Bridges situation. Even if I don't think that's the right move for the Charlotte Hornets, but I digress. Josh Giddey, after everything that had happened over this past season with the, I think, 16-year-old girl or whatever, all the evidence that came out was really, really damning. It was very obvious that, like, he was pretty much dating this girl. I'm going to get the jokes out of the way early. He can't date minors in Chicago, so a W for society and probably a W for Josh Giddey. But the thing is, like, Josh Giddey, I think, is a good basketball player. I will say that. I think he's a good basketball player, but even when Chet Holmgren's coming out and posting things on Twitter about you, dude, like, it was pretty obvious they were going to get rid of you at some point. Chet Holmgren and SGA are the faces of that team. Josh Giddey didn't play much really at all during the NBA playoffs. And, he's going to a place in Chicago, which it seems like, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch here, but it seems like the Chicago Bulls are finally accepting the fact that they're not a great basketball team. Lonzo Ball has a player option for this upcoming year. He would be stupid to decline it. He's going to pick it up. But the thing is, after the season, I don't think the Chicago Bulls are going to bring back Lonzo Ball. And that's why I think they brought Josh Giddey into the building. Kobe White had a fucking amazing season this past year. He was a guy that I, for the life of me, could not understand why the Chicago Bulls re-signed him. And then once he got some opportunity and got to become like the lead guard, we saw what Kobe White is finally capable of. It took long enough because I was like, I've lost all faith in Kobe White. I remember making a video saying, like, why the fuck would they bring this guy back? And he proved me wrong. And you know what? I'm glad he did, because I was beginning to think that the Chicago Bulls just absolutely sucked at drafting players. But if I was a betting man, I would say going into this upcoming season, Kobe White is going to be the starting point guard, and Josh Giddey will probably be the sixth man or the backup point guard as the Chicago Bulls maneuver this offseason. Now, I don't know if they're going to bring back DeMar DeRozan or not. There was rumors that DeMar DeRozan would like to return to Chicago, but trading Alex Caruso to Oklahoma City, to me, just feels like maybe you're going in a different direction. Just because of how young Josh Giddey is. However, Josh Giddey is still a decent player. He's not a phenomenal player by any means. Like, I don't think he's a guy that makes a drastic change to your roster, but I do think this is a downgrade for Chicago going from Alex Caruso to Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey is just a younger, more inexperienced player compared to Alex Caruso. So, to me, from the outside looking in, it looks like, okay, maybe Chicago is, finally biting the bullet here a little bit and just saying, like, over the regular season, they were willing to trade DeMar DeRozan. They were willing to trade Nikola Vucevic. They were willing to trade Zach LaVine. So I'm wondering if they've just finally decided, like, the dogs come home to roost. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're finally realizing that, like, the roster we have is not enough to win. And if it's not enough to win, we might as well get what we can for it now while we can. Because honestly, DeMar DeRozan, I don't care if he wants to come back or not. He was on an expiring deal. Your team was not winning. You know, like, this is a guy that I think deserves an opportunity to win, and you risk you're currently, like, because you didn't trade him, you risk the opportunity of him to go to another team for absolutely nothing, which to me was a really, really dumb idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, like, during the trade deadline, one of my, like, top guys to get traded was DeMar DeRozan, because I was like, yo, he can still play. He was second in Clutch Player of the Year voting, only behind Steph Curry. And I was like, yo, DeMar DeRozan is still a really good player. Fucking trade him now while you can and get something for him. He is 34 years old. And they decided not to do that. And this move, trading Alex Caruso to OKC, with how good of a player Alex Caruso is, to me, looks like they're finally mailing it in. Because I think maybe DeMar DeRozan has told them that he doesn't plan to return. And if that's the case, I expect the Chicago Bulls to clear house. I have a feeling that we could see Zach LaVine get traded somewhere. We could see Nikola Vucevic get traded somewhere. You know, it sucks because Zach LaVine, I just simply don't think they're going to get as much as they would like, or maybe as much as they're asking for Zach LaVine. But this was a big trade for both teams. You know, OKC's getting a lockdown guard at that point guard position, and also, like, the Chicago Bulls are getting a guy that they see something in that they like. You know what I'm saying? As far as skills go, I will say this: I don't think Josh Giddey's jump shot is, like, the prettiest thing in the world. But you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess it works for him. But if you can get Josh Giddey to be, you know, a more solid defender and just, you know, shore up his three-point shot a little bit, Josh Giddey's a guy who could be really good for you down the road. And Josh Giddey, I think, is only 22. Don't quote me on that. But, you know, I'm just going to say this. How old is Josh Giddey? He's 21 and a half. So he's almost 22. But he's 6'8", 210 pounds. He shot 33% from three, but he averages 12. This past season, he averaged 12 points per game, 6 rebounds, and about 5 assists. It's very obvious the reason they traded for Josh Giddey is because they're looking for their next Lonzo Ball. And, you know, he shot 80% from the free throw line this past season, so it shows that he can shoot the ball. But, you know, he's a 31% career three-point shooter. 47% from the field for a guard is actually pretty good. So, you know, maybe they're looking for another Lonzo Ball. Maybe they're looking for a Sean Livingston type of guy. But I think Josh Giddey has the ability to be an even better player. You know, he's not a good three-point shooter. If they could shore up the three-point shot, that would be really huge for them. He averages about 1 steal a game, 0.8. So yeah, if they could shore up the defense and they could get this guy to shoot the three better. I mean, he's shooting great from the field. 48, 46, 47% is very good. He took a huge jump in free throw shooting. He averages only about, you know, 2.5 turnovers a game, which isn't horrible, but it's not great either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know, in his first 2 years, he averaged about 3 turnovers a game, and then this past season it was only 2, like 2.1. So yeah, he's a young guy with, I think, a lot of upside. And I think that's what the Chicago Bulls should be looking for. So if I'm grading the trade, to be honest with you, this is, I think, an A+ trade for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think this trade is a fucking home run for them. For the Chicago Bulls, I'm going to say it's a B+, A- trade. If Josh Giddey can just stay away from the minors off the court, I mean, I don't mean to be a smart ass, but it's, you know, it is what it is. If he could just stay, like, put the off-court shit behind him, and I think he will be able to, you know, if he can just come out, play ball, and just, do what he did in OKC for a while, like just show improvement in the three-point shooting area and the defensive area, which I think he can do in Chicago. He's definitely going to get a whole lot more opportunity in Chicago than he did in OKC. Ever since OKC became the 1 seed and they were making a playoff run, Josh Giddey was like officially out of the picture. So I would like to see if Chicago could trade for Tari Eason. Like if they can pull off Tari Eason from the Houston Rockets in some way, shape, or form, or Cam Whitmore or one of those two. If they can pull that off, because they're like, I know Tari Eason ain't getting no burn right now in Houston, which is depressing because he's a really good player. If Chicago can fuck around and get themselves Tari Eason, I think you have a pretty good offseason. Just saying, like, even if DeMar DeRozan walks for nothing, if you can find a way to flip one of your players into Tari Eason, I think you're moving in the right direction. With Josh Giddey now, and you bring in a guy like Tari Eason, or maybe you pull off a trade for a Robert Williams in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of young guys around the NBA that are maybe not getting a whole lot of opportunity, or just good players in bad situations, or I just think like Chicago isn't a bad team. Like they're a competitive team. They're just not a good enough team. That's their problem. And I think they're finally biting the bullet. I think they're finally realizing like Zach LaVine, this Zach LaVine DeMar DeRozan combo isn't working. Lonzo Ball doesn't. I have a feeling Lonzo Ball probably doesn't come back for them, and even if he does, he's not going to be the same guy. So you know what? I like it, man. I understand there's going to be Chicago Bulls fans who are maybe not happy with this for the off-court stuff, which is understandable. But at the same token, it's kind of like, this is your Lonzo Ball replacement if you can make it work. And, they made it work with Lonzo Ball. Maybe they can make it work with Josh Giddey. I don't think, a lot of people forget that at one point in time, Lonzo Ball really wasn't a great shooter. You know what I'm saying? He had just like Josh Giddey, he has an awkward looking jump shot. And, if they can bring in Josh Giddey and mold that again, then maybe they're fine. But I don't know. To me, this is something that I think, If you're Chicago at the same time, I'm kind of like, is Kobe White's job okay? You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing that I get from this, because Kobe White fucking balled last year. I mean, the dude was in the conversation for most improved player of the year, and rightfully so. But I just think to myself, I'm like, why? Like, I just don't know why they would trade Alex Caruso for another point guard when it seems like they're pretty guard heavy. But at the same time, it seems like the Chicago Bulls really like their 6'8" point guards. So, you know what? And then like even at that point though, I'm thinking to myself, like, why not Dyson Daniels from the Pelicans then? Like the Pelicans I guarantee you the Pelicans would have gave you Dyson Daniels for Alex Caruso. But I'm not an NBA GM. I don't understand this stuff. Josh Giddey, I think, is a better player than Dyson Daniels at the moment, but you never know. I don't know what goes on in these NBA front offices, but I like the trade for both teams. Even if I don't like it for Chicago as much as I like it for OKC, I can understand why Chicago made this trade, because I honestly don't think Lonzo Ball is coming back, and I think that's another reason they made this trade. I think Lonzo Ball's best days are behind him at this point, unfortunately. And this trade for Josh Giddey, to me, just kind of screams Lonzo Ball is done. And, we have Kobe White, but our ideal point guard is a Lonzo Ball type guy, and Josh Giddey is a Lonzo Ball type guy. He fits the profile, he fits the measurements and stuff. So, and he pretty much is like the same fucking thing Lonzo Ball was when he went to Chicago. So, I don't know. Hopefully Chicago can turn Josh Giddey's career around. I think they can do it. They did it once. I think they can do it again. So we'll have to wait and see, but great trade for both teams. I love this trade for OKC. If you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, you should be like, I don't know, jumping up and down right now, because you just got one of the best guards in the NBA, and he's gotten a whole lot better at the three-point shooting. And also, this is one thing I like about Alex Caruso as well, which I think is a very underrated characteristic of Alex Caruso, is that he's a damn good leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, Alex Caruso is great at rallying the troops. He was great at doing it in LA. He was great at doing it in Chicago. And he's going to be great at doing it in OKC, where you have a young team with SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Lu Dort. Like, they have a really young team. And what they really needed was like a established vet. And Alex Caruso is going to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to... I don't know if Alex Caruso is going to get the same PT that he did in Chicago, but it's just the idea, like, you got yourself a really damn good vet for a guy that you were basically trying to get rid of. So, I like the trade for both teams. I think it fills a void for both teams in a way, or at least it satisfies something they're looking for, and that's why I like this trade so much for both teams. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.